Hey, what's going on, YouTube family? We are back for another trading video. This video, I'm super excited. We're going to be going into a Sunday market outlook, looking at a few of the main pairs that I trade on a day-to-day basis and getting the macro perspectives and macro biases heading into this trading week. All right, this is something that I'm looking at every single trading week, right? On Sundays before the market opens and just as the market has opened, looking at the key levels that price is playing in between, and looking at the major play that we're going to be able to see play out throughout this trading week. Because if we understand the macro, if we understand the longer term, if we understand what's going to be playing out over the next week or over the next couple of weeks, it's going to give us that edge we need to be able to drop it down to the lower time frames, the hourly, the 15-minute, the 30-minute, these lower time frames where we're catching entries, and snag those entries that are in line with that macro bias, that are in line with that overall push. So let's get right into it, starting off with GBPUSD that we see up on the screen here right now. One of the main pairs I'm trading, very consistently. Last week, we saw this push up into 1.3593 daily key level. A little bit of a rollover, a little bit of a tip off. If we look at the daily time frame, we'll be able to see a very clean 1-2 double wick reaction coming off that key level where we printed off. And we got a little bit of a rollover back down into 4-hour key level that rests off just in around 35.22. If we look at the 4-hour time frame here, we'll notice that price penetrated through the level a little bit and then came back above and has just been resting, sustaining momentum above that level as of right now. We can see that most recent 4-hour candle that happened on Friday is starting to wick off as of right now. Okay, but of course, the market hasn't opened. Sunday evenings is where the market starts to get on its feet, and we're going to be able to see these moves start to transpire. It's currently, Sunday morning, so by the time that you guys are watching this, the market will have just opened or be just opening, because this is dropping at 5 p.m. Eastern when the market does open. But if we look on the daily time frame, we'll notice that this push or this drop that came into the 4-hour key level, immediately after touching into the zone, it started to have some hesitation and pull away from there, okay, which just left this little bit of a trailing wick. All right, so what I am looking to see play out throughout this trading week is for the market to finish its cycle, for the market to finish its push into the upside up into 36.91, this weekly key level up here. Okay, so to come off of this 4-hour level, which will act as a higher low, and make the push up through 35.93 dailies and directly into that weekly level right there. So I've drawn in a little bit of an intraday hourly / 15-minute key level that I'm going to be looking for confirmation. And all this really means is, of course, I need price to come off of this H4 key level to the upside. However, I'm not going to be looking to catch buys until we actually break outside of this hourly level right here coming across the board. Okay, and once we catch those buy positions just above this key level, I'll be looking to ride that directly up, as I was saying, into that daily key level of 35.93. And if price has a lot of momentum into that level, right, if price just smashes through that level no problem and keeps on climbing, then the main overall target point is that weekly key level up at the highs here. Okay, sitting in at 1.3691. So pretty good pip potential, pretty solid trade opportunity there. And on the flip side, because we've always got to remain dynamic, we've always got to leave all options on the table as traders. If the market ends up continuing through that 4-hour level to the downside, right, if we end up continuing this push down, and price does decide that it wants to go short, the confirmation level that I'm looking at the downside is sitting right in at 35.10, this hourly level. Right, so if price smashes through, that's one thing, but if we snap through this hourly, then we will have the opportunity to catch sells down into 34.76, that next daily at the low. Okay, but the move I am favoring, and what I think will, very high probability, what I think will probably play out is this move to the upside. We just need that crack above the hourly and the finished push away from the H4s, and we'll be able to see a big rise coming into play this week. Okay, but just gotta remain dynamic, leave all options on the table, because as traders, right, we can't marry a bias. We can't, get obsessed with the market pushing one way. We gotta leave all options on the table. We gotta remain fluid. So that's GBPUSD. let's move it into AUDUSD, another awesome pair, a pair that I trade on a weekly basis. So at the start of last week's trading week and the end of the trading week before, just at the end here of January, on the 28th of January, actually, we ran into our weekly key level, super high impact zone at 0.7 thousand. Psychological level, major quarter point level, major weekly level, high impact low. There's a lot of reasons why this level is holding a lot of strength. And so as we start off into this trading week, really just looking to see how price reacts to this level. However, I think what we're going to see, especially based off of the price action we saw last week of this little bit of a push to the upside, followed by a little bit of a retracement back into 4-hour levels, I would like to see this this move continue out from 4-hour levels up into dailies, and hopefully weeklies. Because coming into this 0.7 thousand level, of course, it's a very high impact level. And just looking at the start of last week, how we immediately bounced away from that level, came directly into point B, our 0.7148 daily key level at the highs. And then I think that this is just a relief pullback into the downside. We'll take floors there at this 4-hour level and then shoot back to the upside. And then on the flip side, the flip side is going to be a little bit different because I'm not really going to be looking for shorts unless we clear this weekly level. We could come back down below 4-hour level here. We could come down here, but at the end of the day, this level is holding very strong. We need a very clear and evident break below that level. And if that is the case, then we will have the opportunity for massive shorts. However, I don't think that's going to be the case. I don't think it's going to play out like this. I think 0.7 thousand is going to continue acting like a floor, and over time, over the next week, over the next couple of weeks, send price directly back up into 0.7278 at the highs there. So that is AUDUSD. So I'll just go ahead here and highlight in the potential move that we're looking at. And the rule always stays the same, right? We're targeting into these daily key levels. However, if price comes into 72.25, for example, and it's just smashing through there, it's just bouldering through, there's no stop in existence, right? There's just a lot of volume and price just wants to keep climbing. Then of course, we're able to hold that position and keep rolling it up all the way into that next target. But that's AUDUSD. And then we'll bring it into GBPJPY. Very similar bias to what we're seeing over on GBPUSD, where we just ran into a daily level on this push to the high, followed by a little bit of a retracement back into the downside. But what I'm looking to see play out here on GJ, of course there is a possibility that we could roll over back into the downside, but I don't think that's going to play out. I think what we're going to see is price continue to wick off from these lows here, push back above 156, and then get this continuation back into the upside on this move that we were already running on. Okay, if we look on the daily time frame here, we'll be able to see price just briefly smashed above that 156, new daily opened, and we just rounded off to the downside a little bit, followed by this little bit of a wick off. I think we're going to see this new daily and weekly open, push right back above 156, and then set a floor there to be able to push up into 157, 157.50, any of these higher levels, right? Specifically daily and weekly keys. I actually went ahead and put in a little bit of an intraday level there, roughly 156.08, 156.09. Really just looking for these hourly and 15-minute candles to push back above there, and that's going to give us that area we need to be able to catch buys here and roll those into the upside. Okay, so break and close above that intraday level, and then we can ride those buys, grab the curve here, ride those buys into the upside, 157.50, 158, any of those highs. All right, everyone. So I hope that makes sense. Just wanted to go over these few main pairs in the upcoming bias, GBPUSD, AUDUSD, and GBPJPY. Because like I was saying, if we understand that macro bias, if we understand what's going to be happening on the longer term, on the higher perspective, it gives us that edge we need to be able to go down to the lower time frames and catch our entries that are in line with that bias. Just like we always say as traders, right? We want to trade in line with the trend. We want to trade in line with where the market's always pushing to, right? And looking from the macro, looking from the daily time frame, looking from the weekly time frame is going to give us exactly that. All right, so stay tuned throughout the week. Look at these biases and look how the market plays out in relation to what we were just looking at. Right, watch to see how GBPJPY breaks out in AUDUSD and GBPUSD. All right, y'all, and comment below your opinion, your feedback, if this was helpful to you. I appreciate y'all tuning in. And of course, because I have had people asking if you guys want to lock into my private mentorship, link is below as always. With that being said, drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe because there's a lot more content coming. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Have an awesome Sunday.